The SEC releases huge updates around stablecoins, saying they are not securities. I'll give you all the details there, and you won't believe what Scott Bessent, the Secretary of the Treasury, is saying about Bitcoin. And Blackrock's BuIDL pays out incredible amounts of yield, making me think I want to invest in this. I'll give you all the details. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, the tariff madness continues as China today responded to the US tariffs. And I'm not going to go through all the details there. I'm sure you guys have seen it in the mainstream news. But what I want to highlight is the impact on the markets. A very good sign that we are seeing is that Bitcoin is holding up pretty good relative to everything that's happening in the market. I mean, it's not dumping. It's kind of just chopping sideways. Now, that doesn't mean it can't dump further down. But when you see the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones Industrial, just blood on the streets, dumping heavily, and Bitcoin is just like stuck there. It's very fascinating, and I want to share what different folks are saying. But like I said before, it doesn't mean Bitcoin can't dump this weekend, right? But we'll have to watch it closely. If this holds up, it could really help change the narrative around crypto because Bitcoin is still an asset that is very young. It's only been around since 2009, guys. So in comparison to the stock market, gold, and much more, it's a baby, right? So it has some maturing to do, but this could be one of those growing phases. Maybe it's a teenager now. It's 16 years old and it's starting to mature. So we'll have to wait and see. It would be really good if Bitcoin held up because it will give a lot of investors who have been skeptics a lot of confidence to enter the crypto market. Here's what Arthur Hayes said, kind of echoing these statements. Bitcoin holders need to learn to love tariffs. Maybe we finally broke the correlation with the NASDAQ and can move on to the purest form of a fiat liquidity smoke alarm. We'll see. I don't want to celebrate too much because markets can certainly go against the herd. So if everyone is believing, oh yeah, Bitcoin's holding up, right? Then Bitcoin dumps, then that narrative quickly goes away. So we'll have to wait and see here. And here, Ryan Rasmussen from Bitwise Asset Management, he highlighted the performance where gold is down, the SPY, the QQQ, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, all down, but Bitcoin up 2.2% on the day since Liberation Day. So interesting statistics here. All right, big news coming out of the SEC today, folks. This one is pretty big because Congress is working on crypto legislation. This past week in the House, we had the Stable Act get approved. And we know in the Senate, there's the Genius Act, which was introduced by Senator Hagerty. So the SEC Division of Corporation has just put out guidance on stablecoins. The agency has minted a new term, covered stablecoins, which describes stablecoins that maintain a stable value relative to the United States dollar on a one-for-one basis, can be redeemed for USD on a one-for-one basis, and are backed by assets held in reserve that are considered low risk and readily liquid with a USD value that meets or exceeds the redemption value of stablecoins in circulation. So they're essentially saying stablecoins that act like this, which is the majority of stablecoins out there, are not securities. Remember when Gary Gensler tried to say stablecoins are securities, right? He was trying to say everything's a security, but it's like, how can a stablecoin be a security when it's just simply pegged to the dollar? It doesn't move beyond that value. And if you're just using it to transact, how the hell is that a security? But that's why Gary Gensler is gone and why I called him a scumbag regulator. So the division says that covered stablecoins are not offered or sold as investment contracts and therefore do not fall within the SEC's jurisdiction. The statement does not cover algorithmic stablecoins, yield-bearing stablecoins, or stablecoins that track the value of assets other than USD. So the yield bearing, I could see where the SEC may call some of those securities. We'll have to wait and see. But guys, this is huge. And to have this from the SEC as stablecoin legislation, I think is going to make it through this year. It's high priority because there's a geopolitical aspect to this with the US dollar being the world reserve currency. And it will give a lot of institutions the green light to participate, whether they launch their own stablecoin or use other stablecoins in the market, that they're not going to get a lawsuit from the SEC if they simply want to use it for payments and issue their own or whatever it may be. So this is huge clarity, and it follows the SEC providing clarity on meme coins as well as crypto mining activities. In addition, we're waiting for the SEC to talk about NFTs. I think that's the next big one. And then eventually they're going to have to talk about different cryptocurrencies and digital assets. I think they may wait for Paul Atkins on that. And there's going to have to be more work on that end because that is more complex with the amount of blockchains and tokens there are out there. David Sachs, the White House crypto czar, tweeted out the news saying the SEC has determined that fully reserved, liquid, dollar-backed stablecoins are not securities. Therefore, blockchain transactions to mint or redeem them do not need to be registered under the Securities Act. Helpful clarity from the SEC. Now, moving ahead, we get some very big statements from U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He said, Bitcoin is becoming a store of value. Let me play the clip for you.
It was unclear whether we were going to exempt gold from tariffs, which I believe we have. So there was a big move out of vaults in Switzerland, out of vaults in London to get it into New York. And look, that there are a lot of different stores of value over time. Bitcoin's becoming a store of value. Gold has historically been a store of value. I think what's interesting is, where do we see the gold demand coming from? A huge amount is from China.
Yes.
Where they, as I said, they're in the middle of an economic recession/depression. People don't trust the Chinese currency because they have capital controls. There are 1.4 billion Chinese who all want to get their money out, and they won't let them. They will let them buy gold.
Folks, these are big statements from the Treasury Secretary, and we know he's pro-crypto. We know the entire U.S. government, for the most part, is pro-crypto. But when you hear it from folks of this caliber and the respective positions they're in, it's huge. And I think there's going to be a global FOMO for Bitcoin as the United States put up this signal that they want to launch a Bitcoin reserve, and they're exploring the ways to buy that Bitcoin that is revenue neutral and not a burden to the taxpayers. But I think central banks around the world will start holding Bitcoin, and it will sit alongside gold, just like they currently hold gold. And we could be at the cusp of another Bretton Woods moment, similar to what happened after World War II, where you had the agreement of the gold backing the dollar and the US dollar becoming the world reserve currency and much more. You guys can study up the history, but it feels we're at that moment with Bitcoin here. So big statements, and Bitcoin's here to stay. And we're seeing Bitcoin ETFs continue to grow, and Blackrock's expanding its Bitcoin ETF to UK and other countries. So things are moving in the right direction. Now, folks, a great place you can buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is on Uphold. Uphold is a platform I've been using since 2018. They recently re-added staking rewards for 19 cryptocurrencies. They have 300 plus cryptocurrencies on their platform. And folks, they are easy to use. They are safe and reliable. They don't commingle or lend out your crypto funds. They are 100% reserved, and they have a transparency report that you can review. Now, they offer a great reward program on stablecoins where you can earn up to 5.25%. Part of this reward program is you get 24-hour early access to new tokens that they list. And in order to participate, you just simply have to log into the app once per month, deposit $50 once per month, and trade $50 once per month. And the stablecoins they support include Circle's USDC, Ripple's RLUSD, and PayPal's PYUSD. You can earn up to 5% on those and up to 5.25% on USBC. So this is a great program. Uphold's a great platform. So if you'd like to learn more, visit the link in the description. Now, folks, look at this news. BlackRock's Securitize issued BuIDL paid a record $4.17 million in March dividends. That's pretty incredible. If you recall, BlackRock tokenized a money market fund on the Ethereum blockchain. They named it BuIDL, and it's essentially for accredited investors. But the amount of dividends they're paying out is pretty lucrative. I'm going to have to look at possibly investing in this. I have to do more research, but I like this. And, BlackRock is backing this. And if you guys recall, just I think it was last week, they expanded to Solana. So the on-chain money market has dished out some $25.4 million in investor returns within a year, according to a Friday disclosure from their broker-dealer. Here's a quote: BuIDL's market-leading AUM, assets under management, reflects the growing demand for institutional-grade yield on-chain while also showcasing the many benefits of tokenization, Michael Sonnenschein, Securitized COO and former Grayscale CEO, told The Block. He says, unlike traditional money market funds, which typically pay dividends monthly, BuIDL delivers daily payouts, providing investors with a return on capital that they can immediately deploy. It's a clear example of how tokenization is not just making traditional financial products more accessible, but fundamentally better. The daily payout is incredible. And this is why they're looking to put all of these assets on the blockchain, guys, because you have instant settlement, transparency, the ability to track this in real time. It can be used around the globe. No more having to wait days or weeks for settlement. It settles instantly. This is the future, guys, and they're going to put stocks and everything on the blockchain. Pretty incredible stuff. Now, we have some interesting updates around Ethereum. Ethereum developers aim for May 7th mainnet deployment of the Petra upgrade. So this could help Ethereum, I think, perform a bit better. It's been lagging in this bull market. I think even staking being added to the Ethereum spot ETFs will help Ethereum perform a bit better. So this was slightly delayed from the prior estimated date in April as far as the upgrade time, but the latest decision to finalize the May date was made during a core developers call on Thursday following a successful test of the Hudi testnet. The call brought together key contributors to discuss the progress and scheduling of the Petra hard fork, the most significant update to the Ethereum network regarding software changes. The upgrade includes 11 modifications via Ethereum improvement proposals, which strive to improve the network's usability staking capabilities. So this is a big update, and that's why I'm highlighting it, because I think this could have a strong narrative and could impact the price. And as mentioned, in addition to staking being added to the Ethereum ETF, but ETH hasn't had its day in this bull market. So let's say come May, the market is bouncing because, right now we are maybe at the tail end of some of the tariff announcements. And don't get me wrong, I think we have to bottom out and then we'll bounce because markets don't go down forever. I believe the Fed is going to launch QE and cut rates. And I believe that's going to send the markets going higher again. And ETH could start to see some performance here, especially with things like this, which could be major catalysts. Now, on the Solana front, not so good. Solana Whales begin offloading SOL amid a $200 million staking unlock. So this is pretty wild. Solana Whales have offloaded their tokens to cash in on gains from a staking play that began 4 years ago. In April 2021, 4 whale addresses staked 1.79 million Solana tokens, then worth about $37.7 million. The stake was unlocked on April 4th in what Arkham Intelligence called the largest single-day unlock of staked SOL. The firm noted that the next similar unlock is not expected until 2028. At the time of the unlock, the tokens were valued at roughly $206 million, representing a 446% gain from the initial staking period. Not a bad return there, huh? But they're dumping. So it is what it is. We'll see how this affects the remainder of the bull market as prices start to run. Maybe Solana loses some steam here and a lot of the liquidity starts going to like ETH and so forth. We'll have to wait and see. I'm just speculating at this point, but a lot of coins being put out here. But we'll see. At least the next unlock is not till 3 years from now. Now, final news item here. Circle and Binance have formed a partnership. USDC is now the default currency for new Binance Pay users. Jeremy Allaire, founder and CEO of Circle, says a big move by Binance, who has quietly built one of the largest financial super apps in the world with over 250 million users, and has now made USDC the fiat currency for Binance Pay, their peer-to-peer and merchant payment solution with over 40 million monthly active users. So big partnership here. Shout out to the folks at Circle, and I think they're making a lot of moves because they want to IPO. Now, there are reports coming out that they may be pushing back the IPO because of all the economic uncertainty we're dealing with, right? One of the things I mentioned the other day, why the hell would Circle want to IPO in a bear market? And I believe that we were still in a bull market. I still believe we're in a bull market. I know some of you are going to think I'm crazy, but I'm looking at the charts and I don't see the major invalidation. Now, things could escalate further, and that's what we don't know, right? Are we near the bottom, or things could get even worse? That could take us out of the bull market. Absolutely. I'm open-minded. I'm not trying to be some sort of perma bull here. And I look at the data, but based on the data, based on whale activity and some of the key support levels that Bitcoin still holds, I think we're still in a bull market. I think sentiment wise, and you're going to see a lot of comments saying I'm crazy, right? Because people are going to get emotional. How can we be in a bull market? Look at what's happening, blah, 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 blah. But they can't point to you in the charts. They can't point you to the on-chain data and the different metrics that have flagged the top in the past. They just operate by emotions, but that's not what I'm doing here. But I do believe in bull markets, you have these severe pullbacks and crashes and so forth. I've been here since 2016, so I've seen them. And you kind of have to pump the brakes if you're looking to do anything major and a major announcement, and wait until we find a bottom and we start bouncing and showing some strength to move to higher highs. But it's going to be a process. Hopefully, we see some sort of V-shaped recovery soon. And I think some of these companies that were looking to do IPOs, they probably had to push it to the latter half of the year as the market and people get more confident again. And guys, to come out of this, I honestly think it's going to have to be quantitative easing. There's going to have to be some sort of stimulus or bailouts for some industries if these tariffs are to stay in place. So we shall see. But just want to let you guys know, right? I want to be fair and transparent with you guys that this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm hearing. And Circle looks like they're going to push back their IPO. So, guys, let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. A great way you can support the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. Link will be in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my new course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that helps you to learn about every aspect of crypto. Knowledge is power. So check it out at mycryptocourse.com. Guys, thank you for watching and listening. I appreciate you all. And I'll talk to you all later.